Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
There we go. There's the audio. Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. It is officially Friday, and we are heading into a spectacular weekend. I mean, Friday, a little taste of what we can get as we get into that weekend forecast. Great time, and we're tracking every detail here at the 10 o'clock hour. Our headlines start with, of course, what to expect heading into the weekend. Clear skies continuing tonight, carrying that over into our Saturday, and the spring-like temperatures. Yes, what we got this afternoon, and honestly short sleeve type weather that will carry over into our Saturday and Sunday as well. Increased rain chances into next week, and it's not impossible at all that we do get a few of those light showers here in North Mississippi getting into our late Sunday, overnight into early Monday as well. So of course we are keeping eyes on this, and of course our fourth headline, I didn't put it on the screen, but I'll go ahead and verbally mention it. Our highlights, our game of the week highlights. We have those winners for our Spirit Squad. We have those winners for our fans, and everyone was rowdy out there at our game of the week. Still going on, actually. It's in the fourth quarter. Who will come out on top? Well, that's something you and I will find out together. Our Ethan Foster there monitoring it, and he'll keep us updated on what to expect, and we'll get those highlights coming up here in just a moment. 49 degrees by 11. We're 45 there by 2 a.m. Only cooling off to the low 40s by 5 a.m. And that is still a cool forecast. So if you are waking up early, go ahead and grab that light jacket. I think you will appreciate that with how cool we are going to be. But it's not sub-freezing. That's a positive with this forecast. And as we get more into our Saturday, that's where those temperatures will climb. And by 11, 12 o'clock, we're in the mid to upper 60s and only going up from there into the mid-afternoon as well. As we take a look at those sky cams across North Mississippi, the first one sponsored by the folks at Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling, 48 degrees in Tupelo, so showing those cooler temperatures moving in. And I'm sure a lot of the folks out there right now maybe running it a little bit on the warm side when we're talking about that thermostat there for your air inside the car, or they might have a light jacket to accommodate for some of those cooler temperatures. Dry conditions, though, and that's been the story today. High pressure circulating in that continental air, which is drier and a little bit cooler as well. That's why we're getting this bit of a temperature dip compared to what we had this time yesterday. And also a big difference from this time yesterday, no storms. So we're dry and calm overnight. Not expecting a rumble of thunder and not even expecting a drop of rainfall. Even out there in Clay County, West Point a little bit active last night around this time. Kosciuszko, similar to West Point, was a little bit active around this time of night yesterday. 50 degrees, dew point at 37 degrees. And of course, a great weekend in store for Tala County, Clay County, Lee County, all the way across North Mississippi. Our Mama Justice Doppler radar staying with those dry conditions here in North Mississippi, but that's been the case all day long. I mean, putting it on that 12-hour loop, nothing to track, and that's a different story from what we had heading into our Thursday evening. So yes, no hail. We're not talking about any storms at all, and that's a great sign moving forward. If we put it on that national look here real quick and go on that national radar, you can see that we are dealing with some of those showers. We'll have to expand it out because it is well off towards our south and east, over there closer to the Atlantic coast. You can see some of those working south of Jacksonville through the Tampa area. So if you know anyone that went to Disney World this weekend, they're bumming because they are dealing with rainfall right now as that frontal boundary is pushed further towards our south and east, leaving us drier up here, but that rainfall will gradually clear out of the area as we get into those overnight hours. Looking back here at this high pressure center over the top of North Mississippi, that's driving our weather pattern as it circulates in that northern air. Again, when we're getting these winds coming out of the north, this is where we get, actually let me expand it out real quick before we start drawing. Move it back up there towards the north. Oh, we're drawing. As we get that pen real quick and, of course, draw this out, we can see that we do have this northern wind still moving into the forecast, and that's where we're getting this continental air, which is a little bit colder. Let me go ahead and write that down. I don't even want to say colder, but I guess we will this time. Really, I should say cooler, but that colder air is moving into North Mississippi, but it is also a drier weather pattern as well. And so that's why we also are getting these clear skies, no chance of rainfall, and that's going to remain in place as we get further into our Saturday, being that high pressure is still situated out there towards our west. But once that high pressure starts to shift, carrying out further towards the east, that's where we'll start to see, again, a shift in the weather pattern. It all matters with what's happening in the upper atmosphere, and we're seeing that firsthand there on Futurecast. High pressure gradually shifting out towards the east, and these winds are going to shift with it. But being that it is a slow-moving high pressure center, a slow-moving ridging pattern, That's going to mean that we're pretty much calm on Saturday and get to enjoy the benefits of a high-pressure system being right over the top of us in North Mississippi. That'll be for the early hours of our Saturday, but again, moving gradually to the east as we get further into that mid to late morning time frame. And as that pushes out there towards the east, these southerly winds move back into the forecast, and this is where we start to get more of that. Let me clear that off. There we go. Some of that Gulf moisture, which does have a little bit more moisture attached to it, and that does work its way into the Delta up there towards northwest Mississippi, and that flow is a little bit stronger out there towards Arkansas and Louisiana. So that's where we can expect some of these showers to occur, again, for this corridor out here towards Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, areas like that. But that system will gradually push out there towards the east as we get further into our Saturday afternoon, and potentially resulting in a few showers here in North Mississippi. So the next 24, not tracking any rainfall. Any rain chances that we do have will be more for our Sunday, and our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut will be tracking that here in the Room to Room Weather Center as we do get closer. But 6 a.m. 42 degrees, 3 p.m. 74 degrees. It might be enough for a light jacket in the morning, but I think short sleeves and potentially shorts are in store for our Saturday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine throughout the day, looking like a great forecast that we get to enjoy here in North Mississippi. And we're talking all the latest details on that weekend forecast in its entirety here coming up in the next 60 seconds. We're also talking about those potential rain chances off into the extended forecast. But before we do any of that, we have to track our Spirit Squad of the week as well as our fan section of the week. Who came out on top? Well, let's take a look.
You've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
All I'm saying is Rosa Fort is lit. We got to go out there at some point and see a home game, because if that's the atmosphere all the way in Boonville, then I just can't even imagine what it's like over there in Tunica. So at some point, whether it's this season or next season, we'll try to get out there. Well, I guess this season's wrapped up, but next season, Matt, Ethan, we got to get over there at some point. But nonetheless, it is heating up on the court. And again, our Ethan Foster there monitoring things for our game of the week. He picked Kosciuszko. I'll be honest, especially seeing the energy in that video, I was kind of rocking with Rosa Fort. They seem like they have a high-powered offense. So we'll see who ended up coming out on top here in just a few moments. But nonetheless, let's get back into the forecast. And where it's heating up on the court, I guess it is cooling off, all things considered, here in North Mississippi. We're 46 degrees in Oxford. And a big thank you to the folks there at Phoenix Building Solutions for providing us this look out there. And let me say this. I love the cameras in North Mississippi because they show the stars in the sky, getting us a look at the clear conditions that are in place overnight. We've gotten to enjoy that all afternoon long. So perfect end of the work week. We did, of course, have to go through some trials and tribulations on our Thursday, but Friday shaping up nicely, and that carries over into the weekend as well. We're 48 degrees in Starkville, a little bit of that light pollution not allowing us to see the stars. Well, I do see one right there. So Stark Vegas, I guess you are still getting a little bit of that action there in the sky, but nonetheless, great looking skies no matter where you're at in North Mississippi, and a big reason why, those dew points being as low as they are, that dry atmosphere still overhead, and we get to enjoy that into the start of our weekend as well. Look out there in Sherman, still 48 degrees, and those winds are calm. And one note with that forecast is we do still have a little bit of that moisture in the ground, especially in some of those shaded areas that may not have dried up as much as others. That's where we could see some of that patchy fog overnight. I don't think it'll be as dense as what we had last night, but the chances are there. But that moisture is very much needed. So I'm not talking negatively whatsoever, because our current drought monitor, Matt, took a look at this last night, and we're taking an updated look at it again tonight when things are a little less crazy. You can see that level 4 drought, now encompassing parts of Tallahatchie County and up there towards Panola County. That's where significantly dry conditions are in place, and that's where we need that rainfall. So some of those rainfall totals that we dealt with over the weekend oh my word, you can tell I'm ready for the weekend. Some of those rainfall totals on our Thursday amounted to 1.5 inches, even up to 2 inches in some of those heavier spots. So that all helps alleviate some of these drought conditions, but we do need that over a pretty decent period, as we're talking about several days. So luckily this upcoming week, we have those isolated chances, but in a matter of the isolated chances, unfortunately, that doesn't cover everybody. So that's going to be some hit and miss showers, and hopefully it does hit the right locations. As we look at those rainfall totals, again, Tallahatchie County was kind of the bullseye of that level 4 drought monitor, or level 4 drought. And as you can see, Tallahatchie County not having exactly a ton of rainfall. We're seeing trace amounts, maybe up to 1/2 inch in some of those heavier spots. But if you compare that to what we got east of I-55, I mean, let's look at the Union County area, southwest Union County, close to the Etta community. That is 2.1 inches. And even over there towards Itawamba County, guys, I promise I'm never forgetting it. I didn't even forget it. It was just so late at night. I don't know. My brain wasn't braining. 1.89 inches there along I-22, just outside of the Moorville area. Amory getting about 1 inch as well. Down towards Lowndes County, 1.7 inches. And I do want to say, even at the Maynor household, we have a rain gauge that's outside, and it amounted to about 1.5 inches, and that's northern Lee County. Boonville, I do see a few stripes up there towards you, Tishomingo County, and over there towards Prentice County, just above 2 inches. So pretty decent output of rainfall. And as that did push out there towards Birmingham, Alabama, you can see how much heavy rainfall we did get to enjoy. My folks out there had a very soggy night, all things considered. Yeah, 3+ inches in multiple locations, along with the large hail that they received. So this was an action-packed environment for basically North Mississippi, North Alabama, exactly where that marginal and slight risk were issued. So we expected an energetic atmosphere. We expected it before the risk areas were issued, and that verified as we got into our Thursday plans and into our Thursday evening as well. As we get a look at our Mama Justice Doppler radar, again, not tracking anything in our skies, maybe a little bit of smoke here and there as we saw earlier on this evening, but those are some of the controlled burns that are happening. And I will say, with a little bit of moisture on the ground, I guess that is a little bit more favorable for some burning. But as we get into the weekend and some of those breezy conditions do push back into the forecast, especially out in the Delta, do be mindful about what you burn, how much you burn, because we don't want those to get out of control. And of course, fire crews would appreciate that as well. And a big thank you to all of the fire departments in North Mississippi, doing a phenomenal job keeping those at bay. But let's be mindful of that as well here in North Mississippi. Day planner, 47 degrees by midnight, low 40s there by 6 a.m. So it's going to be a cooler forecast overnight. And as you can see, nothing in the sky. That's a big thanks to high pressure remaining our story as we get into those overnight hours, and that'll continue to build into North Mississippi. So we were talking about the lack of winds in Sherman. Well, if you look at the entire area of northeast Mississippi, barely any wind at all. And so that means that patchy fog definitely possible. I would say along Highway 45, seeing some of those spots and even on some of those back roads as well, especially those shaded areas where there's still some of that low-lying moisture. But as we get more towards 6 a.m., sun does come up, and that should burn up any of the moisture that's still lingering there on the ground. Low temperatures though on your Saturday, a bit more mild out there towards the delta. This a result of some of those southerly winds pushing back into the forecast, giving us some milder conditions by Saturday morning. Still cool. Not as cold as what we're getting along Highway 45 with 42 degrees or 48 Greenwood, Belzona, and Cleveland, and we will continue to see those temperatures climb as we get into our day. I mean, we've been talking about plans or what to do outside. Go to the park. Guys, there's so many parks in the Tupelo area, and I know that's the case for all of North Mississippi. So get out there, enjoy it. Should be a great day with plenty of sunshine and warm temperatures by the afternoon with 74 degrees where we top out here in North Mississippi. As we carry over into the Saturday afternoon forecast, we will see high pressure drive our forecast once again, and this ridging pattern that the high pressure center is a part of, that's going to continue to keep those dry conditions around as well. But these southerly winds do push back into the forecast as that high pressure center moves off there towards the east, and that allows that moisture to return and some of that warmer air from the Gulf, and that basically builds back the moisture for this frontal system to produce a few of those spotty showers by late Sunday. So it's going to take a bit for this front to get here. Not exactly as slow as our Thursday front, but still not exactly a fast mover. So as we get more into our Sunday, that's where we expect those potential showers to move into our area. Saturday afternoon, as I mentioned, 74 degrees was our high temperature. Honestly, should have bumped it up a degree or two. With 77 Houston, Bruce, Grenada, 76 Greenwood, Belzona, and Kosciuszko, 75 Senatobia, South Haven, and Holly Springs, and 74 towards Boonville. So there's a few 74s, but nonetheless, I don't think people are going to be disappointed if that 74 ends up being lower than what that temperature is actually outside. We're all ready for some of that spring-like air to be in the forecast, and we get to enjoy that for our Saturday once again. As we get more into our Saturday night, here's a look at that cold front that moves over North Mississippi, and there's that isolated batch of showers that's moving into northwest Mississippi, close to the folks there at Rosa Fort. So if they don't get back until Sunday, well, then they might be dealing with some showers. If they're trying to hang out in Boonville for 24 to 48 hours, well, then that's kind of the cost of that doing so. But at least it should be dry for most of those commuting back to Tunica here tonight. 3 a.m. on our Sunday, there's that front still pushing overhead, and with that moisture building back into North Mississippi, should allow for some of those light showers to be in the forecast early on our Sunday morning. So waking up, heading out the door, especially those pastors out there, make sure to have those rain jackets and umbrellas on standby. 47 degrees Tupelo, Amory, Houston, and Starkville. We're 48 Corinth and 49 Iuka. 49 showing up Lafayette, as well as Tate and Marshall County. And then 50s actually showing up Cleveland, Greenwood, and Clarksdale. So what that means, because it's a little bit warmer, that means our dew points are starting to climb. And that means moisture is back in the atmosphere. And we'll really see that. Oh, something might have been edited behind the scenes. Matt, I think Maggie's shot might have came up here real quick. But nonetheless, we are going to see some of those dew points climb. And as we get into late next week, that's where those dew points will really start to increase. And that'll result in some, dare I say, muggy conditions. Yes, you did hear that correctly. Potential for that unstable air to build back into North Mississippi. By Sunday morning, we're continuing to track that front and what it's doing here in North Mississippi. And as we keep that forecast moving into our mid-morning time frame, we'll see a large part of that moisture move off towards the south. Now, cloudy skies will be in the forecast as we get into our lunchtime hour and then carrying over into the afternoon as well. Might see a few breaks in that cloud cover and a little bit of that sunshine back into the forecast as well. By the time we get into Sunday evening, there's some of that moisture that's building in along the Mississippi River, and that is going to allow for some of those light showers to be back in the forecast. Let me expand things out here real quick. There's basically that low pressure center. If I could draw this in real quick, bear with me behind the scenes. I'm going to put basically a big L. And no, I'm not talking about the L being attached to those rain showers, but I am talking about the fact that it is going to be that low pressure center a little bit more north from where that frontal boundary actually is, and that'll continue to move off there towards the east and allow for some of those showers to move into North Mississippi as a result. So as those showers work their way in, it's going to be that muggy environment paired with some of that moisture. So you asked for spring, or at least some of you did. And unfortunately, that does mean some of that rainfall building as well. High temperatures on your Sunday, 76 degrees Bruce, Houston, as well as 71 Senatobia and Holly Springs. Down south, 75 Starkville, 75 Louisville and Macon, and 76 towards Pickens County. So it is going to be a warmer forecast for sure, but of course we are ready for that. We are ready for that spring air, and we get to enjoy that here in North Mississippi for Saturday and for our Sunday. As we look ahead towards baseball, we are still in Texas for Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Now, different parts of Texas, which Matt, he worked in Lubbock and he knows how large Texas is. So that we are in Houston as Ole Miss takes on Ohio State, 11 a.m. there on Saturday. First pitch, 73 degrees, but since this is a morning first pitch, by the final out, we're 81 degrees. So it's going to be a nice warm forecast for any of those late lunch plans, early dinner plans. What is that called? Linner? Are we going to call it Linner? Well, hopefully we're not a loser in this game. We want to be a winner and enjoy some Linner. Right, put that on a t-shirt. And as we look at our SEC baseball forecast for the Bulldogs taking on Virginia Tech on our Saturday. They beat Arizona State tonight. I forgot to look at the Ole Miss score, but they were up last I checked against Baylor. And Baylor, honestly, not too far away from home. They're a Texas team. So I guess Ole Miss basically playing an away game at that point. But Mississippi State taking on Virginia Tech. That first pitch is at 3 p.m. So by that final out, those temperatures are beginning to dip. 78 degrees in late winter. Yeah, it's a good forecast for sure. So hopefully you get out there to enjoy it, or if you're not in Texas, get out in North Mississippi to enjoy it. I mean, if we look at that forecast, you can see the weekend stays warm. We are going to see those percentages late into our Sunday as that cold front moves a little bit closer and we get the effects of that. And then by Monday and Tuesday, we are drier, and then midweek on into the weekend. That's where we're watching for some of those showers and potential thunderstorms moving into North Mississippi. And, I was talking to our meteorologist, Caleb Edelblut, behind the scenes a little bit about this forecast, and I would not be shocked at all to get some of those strong storms in North Mississippi. I know this is an extended time frame, but we're getting a disturbance that is moving into North Mississippi. And the thing that sparks my attention is look at the lows. We're 50 Monday, 53 Tuesday, but by the end of the week, we're 59 Thursday and 60 by Friday. And you might be asking, Gabe, what exactly does that mean? Well, dew points matter when we're talking about those low temperatures. Low temperatures do not exceed what those dew points are. So the reason why we're not dropping off into the 40s or 50s is because that dew point is increased, and that dew point, I know it's a level of moisture, but it's also a level of unstable air that will be in North Mississippi. So that's why we're getting some of those rumbles of thunder Friday. But if I were to have a 10 to potentially 14-day forecast, we'd have several days into the weekend and into early next week that does have some of those thunderstorms attached to the forecast. So this is one that we're paying attention to. But Ethan, I'll tell you the best sport to play whenever it comes to rain chances, basketball. And that's where you're at right now for our game of the week, correct?
Yes, we are out here at Northeast. It's very loud in here, very hard to hear. My wireless earbuds would not work, and they said they were turning the lights off in about 5 minutes. So, Gabe, if you want to come back in here to talk to me for just a second while I try to get out of here so I can actually focus, that would be very beneficial because, as you know, it's been a crazy 3 days here in Northeast Mississippi. We had lots of basketball out at ICC Wednesday. We're here in Northeast tonight. I've been here since 4 o'clock this afternoon. I've seen 8 different basketball games in 3 days. And as you can tell, yes, I may be a little sleep deprived. But you know what, Gabe? We're still having a lot of fun, okay? We're following the crowd out right now. A lot of Kosciuszko fans, they just saw a big win. I can confirm that Kosciuszko is our winner in tonight's game of the week, okay? And, Gabe, what does that mean? That means that Ethan Foster is officially 8-0, undefeated in his picks against all the odds. But I will say, you can ask Matt about this later, but we talked earlier in our preview of this game about how I was prepared to sweat this one out. The first half of our Kosciuszko-Rosafort game was very close, okay? It was only a 3-point game after halftime. Kosciuszko came out very, very hot in the second half, and they managed to overcome not only a 3-point deficit, but they end up winning the game at the end of the night. Very, very big game. And it was a big crowd on hand today. Our first game of the night, of course, was Tisch County and IAHS. One of these teams, Tisch County, you see Meg Moore there. She's actually one of my favorite players to watch this season. Very, very good. And I don't have a lot of insight into what makes a team like this so good, even though I might be the basketball expert. But I will tell you, players like that right there, 24, Meg Moore making threes, going around the horn, up and down the court, no matter what it takes, she's going to get it done. But she's also got some good pieces around her, like Matt talked about earlier. You see IHS doing all they can to hang in there with a team like Tisch County, but like we've talked about, Tisch County has too many answers. They are very, very good. They've been very good all season. And as you can see right here, very picky, very stingy with the ball. Meg Moore getting the pass there off the stolen ball and making the layup. That was good for 2. And, Gabe, this Tisch County game went about as I expected it to. Tisch County ends up winning this game in the end. Win over IHS. The Braves will move on, play the winner of Choctaw Central and Morton and Jackson. So, continuing on, I know we're kind of making the best of we can tonight, but our game 2 of the night, not sure if we have that queued up or not. We've been working behind the scenes. There we are. Greenwood versus Yazoo City, game number 2 of the day. The boys from Greenwood, Yazoo City, matching up the Bulldogs and the Indians. First play here is going to be Keyshawn Harris on the three-pointer. Bang, bang. That's exactly how this game was. Very back and forth. Lots of bang-bang plays, fast-paced action. Keyshawn Harris was a playmaker for the Bulldogs all night. Right here, Yazoo City on the return fire. You're going to see Corian Taylor. He's actually going to come up and scoop this ball up off the ground. Look at this right here. Second chance effort there in the basket for 2. He was a dog for Yazoo City all night. Very much a team leader. Had a massive game, 12 points in the first period alone. Right here, you're going to see my man Frederick Ford with the and one layup. Very strong. Ball movement, a big part of the game plan for the Bulldogs. They did more than just shoot the 3. Sometimes you have to own the post. And the Bulldogs had multiple guys in double figures by the end of the game. Ford was one of them. Yazoo City right here, again, Corian Taylor. He's going to get a steal right here. That's how you hustle play and score to end the first half there. Both teams showing a lot of hustle in this game, but my guy, Corian Taylor, was putting it all on the line at the end of the first half to close that gap. Halftime score was 26-24 in favor of Greenwood, but at the end of the third quarter, Greenwood was up 37-31. The Bulldogs continue to build their lead. They won at 56-43 over the Indians from Yazoo City. Game number 3 was Louisville versus Senatobia. Third game of the night. Right here, throughout the game, both teams struggled mightily. But right here, Kiriana Versil got the three-pointer. These were actually the first points of the game. It had been almost 3 minutes in the game without a score. So that was a sigh of relief from the crowd you may have heard there. And they slowly built up a first-half lead over here. You're going to see Louisville, Sonia Leach with a little kick out. Okay. Got them. You just love to see playmakers on that side of the glass and this side of the glass. That was Michaela Sam, the steal to Ikea Bullock layup. Right here, Sonia Leach got ahead of myself. She's going to get the kick out for the corner 3. And by the end of the third period, Louisville led Senatobia by nearly 30 points. But they did that while scoring under 56 points. It wasn't pretty by any means. Louisville wins this game 62-40 to secure their spot at the Big House next week. They'll play the winner of Newton County and Moss Point in the semifinal round. Congratulations to both these teams. And, of course, our game of the week, Kosciuszko and Rosa Fort. Matt can tell you this. I can tell you this. The Rosa Fort crowd showed up in mass. They were absolutely awesome. This felt like a college game, Gabe. You don't get that just everywhere. Northeast Mississippi basketball is just different. Right here, you're going to see Corey Guyton Jr. with the screen and inside jumper. Energy was palpable, went on all game long, never a break in the juice. Guyton Jr. was a game changer for the Whippets, had 17 points before the end of the third period. My guy. Rosaport right here, Jerome Bobo with a corner 3. Got a couple of Rosaport fans joining in the broadcast right here. See, even after the game, they're still fired up. I love this. Right here, you're going to have Joshua Cole with the three-pointer for Kazi. Dribble down, young man. Get it in the corner. Boom. It was back and forth all night. I think you can tell from the energy right there. They're just passing on their way home. They lost this game, and they're still fired up. That's what I love to hear right there. Last play of the highlight here, Takadrius Maxwell is going to shake a defender, step back three, bucket. Rosa Fort actually led this game 31-28 at halftime, but the Whippets, they caught an incredible amount of steam in the second half. Gabe, they stormed ahead of the Lions. They end up winning this one by 20. Kosciuszko wins the game 76-56. They move on to the Big House to play the winner of Morton and Pass Christian in the semifinal round. It's not Pass Christian. You might think it is, but the people from there know it's Pass Christian. Gabe, this is Mississippi Live weather. There you go. Yeah, we're live right now. Make some noise live on there, Mississippi Live. That's what I'm talking about. So as you guys heard right there, you heard in the middle of the highlight, I'm going to get that out of this light right here. A big night for a lot of teams, and more teams punching their ticket to the quarterfinals, from the quarterfinals to the semifinal round out here on the campus of Northeast Mississippi Community College. Gabe, needless to say, it was a whirlwind of a night, both for the teams on the court and for myself. The people at home, I give a little behind-the-scenes backdrop. Look at this. The people at home don't appreciate all the work it takes to make things like this happen. I play a very small part in this, but Matt and Gabe have been working a lot with me to get this back, to get the technological aspects going. I'm just watching basketball. They're doing the hard stuff, getting it in and trying to get it all out for me. It was a lot, but hopefully you still had fun along with us, Gabe. It was a lot of fun. Gabe, what are your takeaways from that fast-paced whip around we just did?
Buckle up. It was action-packed, Ethan. Saying you had a small role in this is not true at all. He was there since 4 o'clock, went after his, 8 to 4 over there working at ICC, rushed up to Boonville to get those highlights done. Ethan, big shout out to you. Hardworking this week, 8 basketball games in 72 hours says a lot about your work ethic, and we appreciate that here at Mississippi Live Weather, and I couldn't do it without you, brother, and I hope that you have a safe time driving home, and a big thank you to you for all the hard work that you put in to make all of this possible.
Well, and I'm blessed to be able to do it. Not everybody gets to do this and get paid for it, so I count it as a blessing every day. As you know, guys, we're some basketball sickos at Mississippi Live, so we are absolutely happy to be out here. And, of course, always want to say thank you to our sponsors at Langston and Lott for allowing this to all be possible, for allowing me to do this, for allowing us to dedicate portions of our broadcast to nothing but sports. We know that is important. We believe 100% high school sports is important. It's not going anywhere, and that's why we decided to continue this on. We'll see how we can get these Jackson games covered, but we know that there's a lot of fun to be had at the Big House down there. So whatever it looks like, whenever you see me again for whatever sport it is, as always, of course, from the campus of Northeast Mississippi Community College here in Boonville, Mississippi, I'm Ethan Foster for Mississippi Live Sports.
Appreciate that, Ethan, and drive home safe. As with everybody tonight, just continue to drive home safe and have a fantastic night. Shout out to all of the winners tonight. I pulled up the bracket here because what I want to let you guys know is the winners of tonight, and I believe it was Greenwood. Ethan, give me a thumbs up if it was Greenwood or Yazoo City. Or Greenwood? Okay, I'm getting a thumbs up. Greenwood, and they will be playing at the Big House on March 3rd. That is going to be on Tuesday, and that is going to be down there in Jackson. I don't know the winner that they're playing just yet. And then, of course, Kosciuszko playing around that same time frame. Kosciuszko actually going to be playing at 1:30, and Greenwood going to be playing at noon on Tuesday. So going to be a great matchup down there in Jackson. Ethan, one thing that I'm going to need from you next week. You are 8-0.
Oh, boy.
8-0 is a big deal. So we have a lot of North Mississippi teams down there in Jackson. I think we need your winners heading into next week. We'll save that for next week because I know you've worked hard tonight. Your brain's probably fried, and you got to think about this. But you need to pick your winners from 1 through 7A and have who's coming out on top. Because if you're 8-0, then what you speak is, it's not gospel, but it's pretty close to it at this point because it's been truth so far. So that's going to be something fun we can do next week and feature that a little bit more and really put 8-0 to the test.
There's never been more pressure than I'm feeling right now. But, Gabe, you want to know something about pressure?
What's that?
Pressure makes diamonds, okay? Maybe we'll have some diamonds next week. Maybe we'll see some diamonds in the rough getting carved out of that big house down in Jackson. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm definitely excited. We got some really good basketball. Somebody here tonight, I know we're taking up a lot of time doing this, but just real quickly to give a shout out to all of our fans, someone here tonight mentioned to me, and they said the phrase, you guys just take it more seriously here in Northeast Mississippi. It's more serious for basketball here. Down in South Mississippi, it's not as crazy as this. So I have to just shout out North Mississippi and all the basketball teams we've seen. It's been a lot of fun. I've grown a new appreciation for high school basketball doing this, and it really is an underrated sport, I think. But there are a lot of fans out there, like the ones you heard earlier, walking by after they lost who are still fired up. They know how special it is, and we're just blessed to be able to be part of it.
For sure, Ethan. Okay, we'll drive home safe. I won't go back to you now. Well, actually, Matt will join us. We'll have full team coverage tonight.
Okay.
Wow.
So here's what I want to see the two of you talk about here, because I'm not smart on this. I got the weather, and you're my basketball nerds. Okay, so you got a touchscreen TV there, Gabe. Let's get some early guesses. This is not. We're not.
Here we
this
go.
is not the gospel truth here. But early guesses from Ethan. I want to hear what you got. I mean, listen, we got nothing but a 24-hour channel now. So this is the time of night where we got nothing but time. So what do you guys think? I'm going to send it back to the two smart people on this.
All right, Gabe, you just go ahead. You call out two teams, and I'll tell you my gut reaction.
Okay, well, being that we do have Greenwood and Kosciuszko, we're going to start with 4A. And I don't know the southern half teams. So between those two north half teams, who do you have coming out on top? Because if they both win, they have to play each other in Jackson. So who between Greenwood and Kosciuszko do you have making it all the way to the 4A title?
After what I've seen tonight, Gabe, I got to roll with the Whippets. I really like Kosciuszko, the fire they played with tonight. They kept it very close. And I'm going to tell you something. That crowd was intimidating. I was sitting right in front of some of the Kosciuszko fans, and one guy, he was hollering the whole game. He stomped on the court so loud behind my back that it made me jump. I was never worried because I knew he saw me clearly. It would not hurt me in any way, but I actually jumped, and that doesn't happen very often. And when you're playing with a crowd like that behind your back and a Rosa Fork crowd that, again, Matt can attest to this, he heard it himself. When it sounds like a D1 college crowd on the road, you got to have some fight to overcome that. So that was huge for them to storm back, and they stormed back in an impressive way in the second half. So Kosciuszko, I'm rolling with the Whippets.
Okay, so
and I do have to give credit exactly what Ethan was mentioning there. It was the Rosa Fork crowd was in.
It's crazy.
When are we going to a home game? Please, we got to go at some point.
Tunica.
Love to. It was just, I mean, it was electric from start to finish on this one for that crowd. They traveled as well as any team we've seen travel this year.
Keep in mind, it's an hour away, over an hour away. Like, that's insane.
Well over an hour. It's 100. We figured it up. What was 100 plus miles? Is the
100 plus miles? Yes.
Yeah.
So that's really 2 hours away, is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes. It was insane. Like, you can't help but get fired up. And I was talking to Matt while we were getting ready for the game to start, and I could literally feel the energy from the crowd, like, coursing through me after however many hours it's been since I started my day. I mean, that juiced me up, and I told Matt, I was like, this is the game we've been waiting for all day. This is what we deserve as fans. And so I'm very, very proud of both teams and their fans for sure.
Well,
yeah, absolutely. I think. Now, I'll be honest, so when I left a little early so I get home, and I kind of helped on some of the behind-the-scenes stuff here to get all the videos in and everything. But when I left, I was pretty sure Rosa Fork was gonna pull it out. They just had so much energy. The momentum had kind of gone back and forth so much in the first half. So when we start talking about the second half there and the way it turned out, I'd say that's a huge halftime adjustment on the part of Kosciuszko.
You dare bet against Foster? You dare bet against the man who's 8-0?
If you had heard the fans, if you had felt the electricity, there were moments in that first half that it was a Rosa Fork home game crowd there.
I was team Rosa Fork.
Can you imagine what the home games are actually like?
Man,
it's got to be awesome.
Yeah.
Mark that down next season, 2027. We're making.
We got to go to Rosa
somehow,
Fork, man.
some way,
and we got to get some of that custom merch that they're pumping out up there, Matt.
that was the thing. Like, they all had this, Elite 8 hoodie on. And those things are not cheap. And they're like, we go in the next round, we're going to print up another one for the next batch. We're going to keep going.
Oh,
like,
man.
They were so committed. And so imagine my shock when we're looking at those highlights and I'm like, they didn't pull it out. That's just mind blowing to me.
Yeah. And they weren't down at the half either. They were up by 3. And there wasn't any swing before the half. It was pretty back and forth. And like I said, crazy impressive job by Kosciuszko to overcome that. But hey, I'll tell you, Matt, if you didn't think the Kosciuszko crowd was very loud in comparison, I'm telling you, the intensity grew over time. Okay, it was like turning on an oven. It's not going to burn you at first, but once it starts getting hot, don't touch it. Okay. It was awesome.
I will say this: toward the end of the first half, I shifted over kind of toward the Kosciuszko side, and really kind of, I guess, it'd be the southwest portion of the court there in Northeast Mississippi Community College, and there were some dedicated fan members that were committed that they were going to get the rest of the fans, like in it with a similar energy in the second half, and clearly that's something they pulled off.
They had courtside energy, Gabe. They had courtside fans that were like over the boundary line.
I'm like, I missed it.
This guy just has a hoodie on. Who is this guy? He's a Rosa Forks fan. That's all that matters. It's just crazy. I mean, I did not expect that. And to be quite honest with you, if you would have asked me where Rosa Forks was from before today, I wouldn't have had a guess. I had to look it up. So, hey, as the meme says, Rosa Forks, I was not familiar with your game, but you showed out tonight, and it was awesome. Even though you guys don't continue on, you should be proud of a season like that and be proud of a fan base like that, because not everybody has that. And, of course, we are kind of droning on about Rosa Forks Kosciuszko, but it was our game of the week, and I would say, without a doubt, the biggest one of the season. What a game to end our season back here in Mississippi, in our area on, until the big house begins. That was just a lot of fun.
Well, Ethan, I do have some more matchups if you want to make a pick based off of some other games that happened today. This was actually Itawamba. You watched them. It was the girls' game of 4A. Yep. And so this is Itawamba Tishomingo. Tishomingo, of course, advances to Jackson. They're playing on March 3rd at 9 a.m., so that's going to be a morning tip-off. And then remind me, Louisville or Senatobia?
It was Louisville. They won.
Louisville. Okay, so Louisville wins. Louisville advances to the Big House, and they are going to play Newton County on March 3rd at 10:30.
Let me double-check that for you, just so I don't tell you wrong, Gabe. I feel like I'm right, but I've seen so much basketball that I feel like I could have said yes or no and believed either one was right.
Louisville?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Matt, for double-checking me there.
So we have
Tisch County, Greenwood, and Louisville, and Kosciuszko won tonight.
Okay, so this is our matchup for 4A girls basketball. And we know that we have two teams representing North Mississippi, as well as Newton County. I don't know if you know a thing about Newton County basketball. I personally do not. So, they might be great. I don't know, but I know our North Mississippi teams are great. So, between Louisville and Tishomingo County, who do you have coming out on top on March 6th?
Oh, man. Gabe, I'm going to tell you some... I'm going to tell you some inside basketball here that the people at this game, Matt, anybody who is in the crowd for Louisville Senatobia, I'm going to put this in a nice way because our job is to uplift, and we love sports, so we're not going to take away from anybody. But that game was not like these other games. These two teams were having a lot of difficulty shooting the ball. I would credit Louisville's defense for holding Senatobia to the low number they did tonight, but both teams just could not shoot the ball really hardly at all. It was about a 60-40 game total points-wise, but it was just like it made you question, like, how does this happen in a third-round playoff game?
Well, but I think it's a reminder that you can always play defense even if some nights you just don't have your shot.
True.
Yeah.
What is it? Defense wins championships?
Defense wins championships. I will tell you. So I will tell you this, Gabe. One thing I would say is that I think IHS, a team that lost to Tisch County tonight, I think that team would easily beat Louisville or Senatobia if it was between those teams.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of those two teams moved on. IHS, unfortunately, had to match up with the powerhouse, Tisch County. They do not get to move on. So it's just the way the cookie crumbles. But Tisch County, I believe, would beat Louisville probably by 45 points in the first half if they matched up. And I know that sounds harsh. That sounds harsh, Gabe, I know. But I want them to know that I love them all, and they are all stars in my eyes. Some of the stars just shine a little bit brighter, and Tisch County is one of those teams that has got star power written all over it. And as we talked about, a lot of D1 offers going through that team, specifically to one person.
Yeah, let me write your winner actually real quick because
Go
I
ahead,
know you're about to mention. There you go.
But I mean, I think
that's right.
I think
Oh wow, yeah. How'd you know?
The Tishomingo County girls are special. They really are this
They
year.
are.
Like
That's what I keep hearing. That's a powerhouse.
It is a great team to watch. It really is. So they play well together. They are more than just one player, though. They have a number of stars. They move the ball well. I mean, everybody. It's a very well executed machine. That's for sure.
Well, that is our matchups from tonight. So those are just a couple of the winners. But Ethan, I'm serious. I wasn't joking about your picks next week. We're putting 8-0 to the test, and that's even mixing in some South Mississippi teams. So you're going to have to do some research heading into next week.
I'm going to have to do some real homework, Gabe. I thought I was done with school, but here you are taking me back.
That is 14 picks, and we will get that selection video airing sometime next week. We may wait until the finals are actually set up and some of those final matchups are ready to go. But, if you want to really test yourself, I guess we could go Final Four and beyond. But nonetheless, it's going to be a fun time.
What we need to do? What we need to do, Gabe? The ESPN draft challenge where you pick your March Madness bracket and all that. We need to get a hold of some AI tools to help us build out a Mississippi high school basketball bracket challenge.
Oh, we should have done that at the beginning of the bracket. That would have been really fun to do. Next year.
How fun would that be? Hey, next year? Never
if you're
say
willing
never.
to put it together.
Wow. Yeah, never be the guy. Never be the guy to suggest a good idea. Always be the guy to agree with a good idea, but never the one to suggest one.
Well, I look forward to your guys' proposals come September on how you want to do that for the basketball season.
Well, and before we go, I do want to note, I was writing down the matchups that are potentially going to happen. And one of the big questions heading into next week is weather. And whether or not we could have the potential for strong storms by Friday. So we may have to move that to Thursday. So it's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Malleable heading into next week of where that game is actually going to
Subject to change.
Subject to change. Weather permitting. There we go. So if it is Friday, then it's going to be either 1, 4, or 7A boys or girls. That'll be our matchups. But if it does end up being a Thursday matchup, then that's either going to be the 5A semifinals between the boys or the girls, or the 6A championships between the boys or the girls. So we'll get that on Monday when things kind of iron out, and that will be our potential game of the week if we are able to get down there, again, weather permitting. But got a lot of fun action headed into next week, early week with some semifinals, and then late week with those championships.
That's right. Taking it down to the big house next week. It all starts Monday. And, of course, we will continue rolling on with our games of the week. As you all at home know, it is late, but that doesn't mean that we can't mention baseball, both at the high school level, the college level. College baseball is in full swing. See what I did there?
That was a home run
and high school baseball is too. So even this week, I've been keeping up with some teams in our area. One of the teams we covered kind of in a impromptu date was Hamilton. Went out to Amory. They played Nettleton in a prep showcase earlier this week. It was a small town showdown kind of thing. I thought that was neat. I keep realizing there's more that I have to learn about all these high school sports, little ins and outs and fun details. Even I told Matt earlier, things like the high school basketball tournament structure and how that all works. If you would have asked me a month ago to give you an in-depth analysis of how that all works, probably couldn't have helped you out much. But as the job required of me, I learned quickly, and here we are.
Well, we're excited for it. It's going to be fun, just basically covering all of this. And again, a big thank you, like you mentioned, to the folks at Langston a lot for allowing this to be a part of our coverage. And
And this is where I have to play boss man on this. I do not know for sure if we're going to be down there in Jackson, if we're going to switch this over to baseball for game of the week next week.
well, we will have score updates of those finals, and we'll let you
we
guys
will have
know.
updates on it. We will keep you updated on that. I'm just not sure that we're necessarily going to go all the way down and do that. Well, let's put Ethan on the spot. What's your schedule look like next week? Because the issue is weather-wise, I don't think I can spare somebody for if we have storms by the weekend down there to cover it. That's honestly, if we're just completely upfront on this.
Ethan,
So
spring break's coming up.
The week after next, it's definitely coming up. You're right, Gabe.
Ethan still has a day job, so what's that look like next week?
Despite what the people at home think, you may realize you only see me once a week, and it's only late at night. But despite the rumors, I do also work full time.
He is employed.
But don't let that deter you. Don't let that make you think, oh, he's just doing this because somebody has something on him. He's just doing it because he needs the money. No, we do it because we love the game. Okay?
Absolutely.
It's about the game. It's about having fun. And it's about doing it like nobody else is doing it. And I believe that what we've done today, what we did earlier this week, and what we're going to keep doing is only going to grow. And I think you guys have seen that at home. We just appreciate everybody for being here with us along for the ride, rambling about high school basketball at 10:51 on a Friday night.
So to clarify, you got real work job to do next week?
Yes, unfortunately, I hate to disappoint anyone who might be hoping for a different answer, but I don't think that it will be realistic for me to be in Jackson next week. As much as I would love to, because again, I got to say this: we saw Okolona, Calhoun City, Tisch County, all these other teams that we've watched kind of grow up all season. It's like seeing your first child grow up and go to school for the first time, right? You don't have to disagree or agree. I speak from all my fatherly experience with actually two dads on the screen, and I'm not one of them. I'm sure you guys can agree. But on a serious note, lots of parents out there who are watching their kids go out to the big house next week, and we have fun too. And just shout out to all the local teams because that does make it fun. I tell students this in high school all the time that I take pride in where I'm from. I'll tell you where I'm from any day of the week and be proud of it. And I know that there's a lot of people out there, like take Rosa Fort, for example. You heard people hooping and hollering, walking behind me like they just won and they're headed to Jackson. But in reality, their season just ended after a really good showing. And so that just shows you they're proud to be from Rosa Fort. They're headed back to Tunica with a smile on their face, and I'm sure they're already planning for next year's run. So shout out to all the fans that make it so fun. Even if we aren't there in person at the big house next week, just know that we are there with you in spirit. Hopefully you know that we're following along closely, and I hope that the energy we bring shows you guys that we really do care. It's something I'm very passionate about, and I really do think it can change lives. You may think that's silly, but I think it's the truth.
Well, I will say there are games on Saturday.
way to suck the air out of the room.
The better chance for storms is on Saturday, if memory serves. Is that correct, Gabe
I'm
Maynard?
not saying for me. About 2 boxes that way. I'm throwing a lob his way.
We will
Gabe, do you know that Gabe, you know East Union plays tomorrow, right?
I know, and I'm sweating. Because as everyone at home has heard, my wife's alma mater is East Union, so we're honorary Urchins and honorary Blue Devils.
Matt, I've heard rumors that if East Union goes to Jackson, one of the three of us here is really going to want to go watch them in Jackson.
Well, I can't if weather's doing what weather wants to do. So that's
I didn't say it was Gabe. I just said someone.
That is the one challenge on this is the word down below us says weather. And so if there's a chance that weather takes precedence, obviously we go all hands on deck on that. As you saw with Ethan last night, helping us out there as well. Because again, we're all a little bit sports, but we're all a lot weather. Yes. So we will see. Now, who knows? Does Mrs. Maynard drive down there, and is Mrs. Maynard our person sitting back?
I think she might want to go more than Gabe does.
Mrs. Maynard probably isn't.
Mrs. Maynard is the more violent fan of everything.
She did win the head-to-head battle in Jackson last year as an honorary urchin. She went out there on the court, and I forget who she beat, but it might have been a fan from Ingomar, actually. They played together. They played against each other. And, East Union caught a dub, and it was through my wife. So, Annalise Maynard,
wow,
don't go up against her. She will win.
Yeah.
Don't go up against the
No doubt.
Mainers.
Nope.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Well, Matt, I do have a question. So, if you guys are,
Yeah.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts, Gabe always calls me the sports expert. Am I going to have to start living up to that Mississippi's trusted sports expert title? That
Yes.
seems like a lot, right?
We had. Hold on. What's your CG? What's your lower third say? Hold on. I'm gonna pop you up full screen so I can see this.
Oh yeah. I think it says. I won't give it away.
Hold on. Let's see.
I think it's Mississippi's sports leader. I don't know. I can't read what's on the screen.
Yeah.
Not in general. Yeah.
Ethan Foster with a memory for the win.
Even after 8 basketball games,
even
too,
after
that says
being
a lot.
sleep deprived, I made it home about midnight Wednesday. As we know, went to work Thursday, and as we know, again today, and here we are. But it's fun. I mean, who else I told Gabe this. You probably heard this, but not everybody gets paid to do this. And I mean, this is pretty fun to me. So what can I complain about? Absolutely nothing.
People ask me all the time. It's like, you liking a new thing? I'm like, it's exhausting, but it's fun.
It is fun.
It's fun. It is fun, and we enjoy it, and that's why we do it because we enjoy it and we think it's important.
Yeah, well, I completely agree. Okay, y'all, I think it's probably time for us to wrap this up. Ethan, appreciate you so much. I mean, at some point I got to get everybody off the clock.
Hey, you said 24
Hey,
hour
I
channel.
will say this.
For the,
I will say this to transition us off of sports, guys. All right, you ready for this? It's 45 degrees outside. That's a weather fact. And it's cold, but I feel great because I've been working all day. It's dry, but it's cold. There's your weather.
And it's also fairly hot inside the Coliseum there up in Northeast. To take you a little while.
It is.
Appreciate that, Ethan.
Yeah, Gabe.
And Gabe. Again, next broadcast, Gabe, you're gonna have to take this over because my mic's gonna cut. Thank you, Ethan. Appreciate.
All right, that is our free app there at the bottom of your screen. Make sure to download that on iOS and Android today. And we appreciate all of those who have downloaded it so far. And again, Ethan said it, not cold, but cool overnight, but warmer afternoons ahead. And be monitoring the weather as we are heading into late next week for those traveling down to Jackson. Potential for some storms and maybe even some strong storms. Of course, our meteorologist, Caleb, he will be having the latest details on that coming up on your weekend forecast at 6 and 10 live here from the Room to Room Weather Center. And we will continue our coverage into next week as well with our meteorologist, Maggie McCauley. They're in your morning shows at 6:37 and 7:30, and Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon and I at 5, 6, and 10. We will try to get some of our Game of the Week coverage next week. That is a guarantee. But what sport? Still TBD, and we will have those results coming up next week of where we decide to go, what we decide to do, and how that forecast is panning out. You guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock on your Saturday.
The 9th Annual World of Customs Indoor Car Show, Friday through Sunday, February 27th through March 1st in Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5. Custom cars, trucks, and bikes from across the nation. With adult admission, you'll get a ticket for a chance to win a Yukon Toolbox to be given away Sunday. Donated by Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, a free garage floor from Bo's Best Epoxy Flooring. The World of Customs Car Show, February 27th through March 1st in Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5. Partially funded by Visit Mississippi and Tupelo Visitors Bureau.